If you are struggling to control your mind, listen to this story. Long, long ago, a great old monk was on his deathbed. His successor, a young monk, was sitting right next to him. He looked at his successor and told him, "Remember this, never allow a cat in your life." A big crowd had gathered outside to listen to the last statement of this great monk. Everyone was surprised when the young successor shared the last words of the great old monk with them. The young successor was disturbed by these last words. He thought to himself, "Why should I allow a cat in my life anyways?" In the monastery, there lived a wise old monk who was the great master and friend of the great old monk who passed away. The wise old monk saw that the young successor was concerned about something. He approached him and asked, "What bothers you, young monk?" The young monk told him that he was thinking about the last words of the monk and couldn't make any sense out of it. The wise old monk replied, "My dear friend, there is a long and amusing story behind it." The young monk was so excited to hear the story. The wise old monk started to narrate the story. "Once upon a time when our dear friend and great old monk was young like you, he renounced his wife, children, and his home, and went into the jungle to live a life of holiness. In a distance, there was a small village where he used to go and ask the villagers for food. The villagers were so happy that they had a monk visiting their village and would serve him delicious food whenever he visited. They also built him a nice small bamboo cottage in the jungle. The monk was very happy to live in his cottage and would visit the villagers often. But one day he discovered that a mice got into his cottage and was chewing into his monk robes. This bothered the monk because he only had 2 robes. He decided to ask the villagers for help. The villagers advised him to get a cat, and the cat would chase away the mice. It was a perfect solution. So the monk got a cat from the villagers. The cat did its job well and chased away all the mice. But now, the problem was that he had to feed the cat. Every day the monk would wake up early in the morning and walk miles to the village to get milk for the cat. The monk again turned to the villagers for a solution. The villagers thought hard and decided to give a cow to the monk so that this problem will be solved. The monk happily accepted as the cow provided milk for himself and the cat. The villagers brought in the cow and tied her next to his cottage. The monk was relieved that his problem was solved. The next day, the monk realized that the cow needed to be fed and taken care of. The inexperienced monk couldn't figure this all out himself. He again approached the villagers to figure out the solution to his new problem. The villagers discussed among themselves, "There is a woman in the village who is a widow, and after her husband died a couple years ago, she is very lonely. She will be happy to serve the monk, feed his cow and the cat. She can also grow crops and also take care of the monk in sickness and in illness." They shared their great solution with the monk, and the monk couldn't find anything wrong with this idea. After a number of attempts, the villagers finally convinced the woman to serve the monk. The woman started working tirelessly for the monk, his cottage, taking care of the cow and cat, and even growing crops on the field. The monk saw how hard the woman worked and started helping her. As they started to work hard together every day, they grew closer and closer with each other and fell in love. As their love for each other grew, the woman became pregnant with the monk's child. They were so happy, and after months of waiting, a child was born. Weeks after the child was born, the monk was deep in his thoughts. He thought to himself, "I had left my family and renounced all the worldly pleasures, and now I'm here, back with everything I left. It grew so slowly that I was not aware until this child was born." He started to think back and was shocked to realize that to solve his original problem, he got a cat. He realized that his whole world had changed because of one decision he made to buy a cat. The wise old monk looked at the young successor and said, "That is why the great old monks said to not let a cat in your life. It will change your whole world forever." In your life, if you have a goal and a vision for yourself, go for it. Don't let the problems that arise disturb your focus, and don't bring the cat to solve it. We are inclined to take the shortcuts to chase away the problems. We make the wrong decision or chose to listen to the wrong people, and sooner or later realize that we fell off the rail and our dreams are in the ruin. Always remember, it is not worth it to let a cat into your life. This is the angel's wisdom. Don't forget to inspire others and make life meaningful.